Good morning, happy Foodie Friday. It's Tanya here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from. You have landed on my business page, and I own and share this page with my husband, Derek. We are online business owners, but we are going to be talking all about baking today. And just a little overview of who I am. If you've never, landed on my page before, or if you're not familiar, we are originally from Ontario. We moved here just over 3 years ago to Alberta, Canada. We're from Ontario, and we have 3 beautiful children that we've been blessed with. One of them still lives back in Waterloo, Ontario, where she's studying her 4th and last year of university. We have our middle daughter that's here in college in Lethbridge, Alberta, and our son who is in grade 9. So without delay, I will just share a little bit about the background of how we do this. Normally what I'll do is I will have everything already pre-measured so that I'm not taking up too much of your time, because I know that all of our time is precious. And but I wanted to just give you the gist of how to prepare these desserts. And I've been doing this every week for the last almost 2 months. So I'm glad to see that you have joined me today. And I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from, because we love to know how global we are. And then just, maybe mention, what your weekend plans are. I always love to know what you're doing and what you're up to, because, here it is Friday, and I love to be able to talk about, things that are going to be up and coming. So I'd love to hear from you. So the first step is always to, have your oven preheated. So I've got the oven already on. I did that step first. And couple of the steps I've already done as well, because I just wanted to, again, save for the purposes of time. So when we're doing the, and I guess I should also mention, if you didn't see in the comments, what we're making today is Turtle Pecan Pie Squares. So if you are a pecan pie lover, or if you love turtles, I'm pretty sure you're going to love this recipe. So I'm, very excited for it. And there is a hint of chocolate in there as well. So it's going to be amazing. So I've melted the butter already. That's going to be part of the recipe, because that, again, to save time. And I've already melted the caramels, because that can take a bit of time as well. And with the caramels, you can either do it in the microwave, or you can do it on the stovetop. So what I did is I cheated. Our microwave is downstairs, so I ended up heating up the caramels first, and then I've got them just warming on the stove so they don't solidify again for when we're ready to use it for this recipe. So I've just got it in a double boiler on low. So again, I'll put that in the comments or in the recipe for you, so that you've got variations of how you can do this. So it's, definitely 5 times faster to do it in the microwave rather than doing it on the stovetop. So just depending on what equipment you have. And so anyway, and the other thing is, I've already prepared the base. So rather than doing a shortbread base, which is what it calls for, I decided to be a little bit adventurous, and I'm doing a vanilla graham cracker crust. So again, if you have that on hand, it's definitely something that you can try out, or you can go with the standard recipe, which is with a shortbread base. So the first thing I want to do is, I'm just going to make room here. So the first thing we have to do is the caramel layer. And so we've already done the graham crust here. And what I have to do is just add, I'm just going to grab this pot here. So I'm just going to give it a stir, because it's, it's a little bit solidified, but mostly, I don't know if you can see there, the caramel. I've just got to add half a cup of pecans, which I've already chopped. So I'll just pour them into the pot here and give them a stir. Okay, and then again, this is going to be our first layer of the square. And that's the thing. So this is a little bit more preparation than it is for baking time. So just keep that in mind if you do want to venture off into making this recipe, because again, I will leave it in the comments for you once I'm finished up here. And then you've got it for your own kitchen. So if you want to give it a go and try it out, I'd even love to see what it turns out like for you, and how you enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a hit here for our family. We all love caramel, and we all love chocolate, and we all love nuts. So, and there's the other thing. If you're not a big pecan fan, but you want to try like this recipe out, you can always substitute for any nut that you like. And I talked about this last week too, but just food for thought. If you have never put your nuts in the freezer before, it's actually a good practice because they last a lot longer, and they're going to be like, you know, staying at a cooler temperature, because nuts shouldn't really be left out, or they shouldn't really be at a warm temperature. They should actually stay a little bit cool. So I'm just going to go and put this back here, turn the stove off, and I'm going to spread this. I have my spatula here. So I've got a spatula, and I'm just going to spread this layer while it's still warm and easily spreadable. And what we've used is a 9x13 baking pan, and that will be on the recipe itself, you'll see. So right now I'm just getting it into the corners. Also what I did was I put parchment paper underneath the graham cracker crust, because I find sometimes it's hard to get squares off the bottom, especially when they're loaded. So having that, I think, is going to be beneficial as well. It didn't call for it, but I thought I should do that, as you know, especially because I am using the graham crackers rather than the shortbread base. So yeah, so I'm just going to give this a little spread. So what are your plans for this weekend? Do you have things happening? Do you have, you know, are your kids in activities? Do you have something that you want to do? I know craft season has started. So last weekend I made it over to the one of our big centers here in Lethbridge, the NMAC Center, and that was the first craft show that I've attended for this season, and maybe it's the first one, I'm not sure. I know, sounds a little early, but I happened to be in the area, so I wanted to you know, check it out and see what was there, and I actually ended up making a couple purchases. So I've got a couple stocking stuffers for the girls, which was really nice. And yeah, I got to just be out there and, you know, seeing what's available. And that's the other thing, like, you don't have to buy, you can just kind of see. And then, you know, I asked some of the vendors, are they going to be doing their, you know, more sales throughout the season? And that way I could always go back and, you know, check them out. So, you know, again, because it is early and maybe you're going to find something different, right? You don't want to buy everything all at once and then, you know, regret or whatever. So I'm just like that. I don't always buy things on the spot like that. So I just want to make sure that I have everything else covered off. Okay, so I've done my best. Maybe there's a reason that you do the shortbread layer. I'm having a hard time kind of spreading it to the ends, but that's what it looks like so far. So I think that once I get the next layer on, I'll be able to spread it even better. So I'm going to put that aside for now. And then going back to the actual filling, I've got the butter, as I said, it's already melted and cooled. That was one of the things it said. Now the next thing I have to do is start adding the ingredients. So this is, I love this part because it's so easy. Everything is just in one bowl. So I've got 1 cup of packed brown sugar. We've got 3 eggs. They suggest it being at room temperature, so I've already had those sitting out. Again, you'll get the details in the recipe itself. Okay, and then the next one is going to be a teaspoon of vanilla, actually 2. This one takes 2 because we're doing a 9x13 pan, so it's going to take a little bit more of the vanilla flavor, which I love. I don't know who doesn't love vanilla, but I'm sure there are people that don't. Again, this reminds me of our travel last year with our online business partners when we were in Mexico last year. So I love, you know, every time I bake with it, it brings back memories of then. Yeah, it's really nice. And the next thing is 1/2 cup of maple syrup. So I'm going to dump that in there. Okay, got as much out of there as I could. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And I believe it's 1 cup of the chibbits, and the pecans, 1.5 cups. Actually, it's a little bit less because I took a little bit out for the base layer, and so that way I've got enough that, you know, for the filling part. So literally all I have to do is stir this all together, and then I'm going to pour it on top of the caramel layer. So I'm excited. So if you're just joining me now, I'd love to hear where you're tuning in from. I I'm here in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada, and you know, I love knowing how global we are. And you know, are you a baker too? Is this something that you want to try out? You've never tried it before, and you'd love to give it a go. It's a fairly easy recipe. It's a little bit lengthy, as I mentioned, for all the prep time, but the cook time is definitely a lot faster. I believe it's 25 to 30 minutes. So that's not too bad once you've got everything prepped, right? And, you know, just for good practice. Oh, hello, Florence. Oh, yes, you have to come. Definitely, yes. Florence is one of my business partners from Calgary, so I'd love to have you come for sure. Anytime, you're welcome. Yeah, I know, turtle brownies, right? Or turtle squares. Brownies would be nice too, but we've done brownies before, so I just wanted to do something a little different. So yeah, I've just stirred everything together, and it's gonna be ready for the next layer. So I will get that, and we will spread it out. So as I mentioned, you know, having things already out, like getting all your supplies on the counter, is very time efficient is the word. Okay, so I'm literally gonna pour this over. Here we go. Yum, yum. And then the other, I was saying I set aside some caramel before. So once these cool, then I can melt the caramel again and do a drizzle. So it's gonna look so good at the end. So I'm excited. So I'm just gonna give a little spread here. Because the chippets seem to kind of pool in the middle, so I'm just going to spread everything around here. And with the eggs being in here, that's what's actually going to make it more like a pie, like a pecan pie. So I don't know, are you a pie lover? Yes, my family does love Fridays, Florence. Yes, they do. Yeah, so I'm just going to get all this sort of spread everywhere so that it's all even, and that's it. That's it. It's amazing. You got to try this out, Florence, for sure. I'm gonna put the recipe in the comments later, and yeah, maybe give this a whirl for your family, because I'm sure if they're turtle lovers, they're gonna love this too. All right, so that's that, and so like the last thing I have to do is stick it in the oven. But anyways, I do appreciate having you stay with me while I'm here in my kitchen. This is one thing I just love to do. I love to do baking as a kind of you know, my creative outlet. I love being creative and you know, coming up with different recipes and trying out different ones, or even doing the ones that I've done before that I know are tried and true. But yeah, so I'd love to share. So if you have a thought or an idea of a recipe that you'd love for me to try out, I'd sure love to hear from you. Again, you can just you know, message me or put a comment, and you know, definitely I'd consider, you know, getting that on here as well. You know, I mentioned this last week too. We are coming upon the Christmas baking season, so I'm hoping to do maybe some cookies over the next couple weeks. So different cookie recipes. So maybe you have a favorite that you'd love for me to try out and give you a shout out. I would love to do that. If you want to do that, you know, and share that with me, I will, you know, get that done ahead of time, and then we can certainly, you know, include that in one of my days. So again, I do appreciate you, you know, joining me this morning, and I can't wait to do the next one. And well, I can't wait to show you the outcome. So normally what I'll do is I will, after it's baked and cooled and all that stuff, I'll, you know, cut it up and, you know, show it to you as a finished product. So you can see, you know, if that's something that you would like to make for yourself, and or for you to share with me what it turned out like for you. So anyway, without delay, I should let you go. I know that I've taken up so much of your time already, so I do appreciate you, you know, stopping by and you know, chatting with me, and you know, learning a little bit more about you know, what you can do for your next dessert or your next treat. All right, well, have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much again, Florence, for stopping by. I love when we can interact like this, because sometimes you know, we get busy with our days, and it's nice to be able to converse back and forth as well. All right, well, have a wonderful weekend. Again, thanks, Florence, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. All right, take care. Bye for now.